No matter if the following recent films were big, small, good or bad, there were some standout moments and unforgettable performances in all. So strap on your big person boots, because we're about to go wading in at the deep end with 10 actors who just gave not just good or great, but the very best performances of their whole careers. I'm Gareth, this is What Culture, and here are 10 actors who just gave their best performance ever. Number 10, Barry Keoghan's Saltburn. Ever fancied watching a young man dance naked to Sophie Ellis-Bextor? Drink bathwater and have carnal relations with another young man's grave? Oh, do we have the film and performance for you. Saltburn offers all of the above and more. As troubled Oxford uni student Oliver becomes fixated with popular upper-class college mate Felix, who invites him to spend the summer on his eccentric and impossibly rich family's estate, Saltburn. Carnage, deception, debauchery and bad vibes ensue across a hot and deadly summer. Emerald Fennell's second film has divided audiences with its portrayal of a life of luxury and wealth, featuring seemingly no redeemable characters. Nevertheless, Keoghan brings his fluid and perpetually developing A-game to the bath-sipping lead role. The Dublin-born actor whacks on a soft Scouse accent and proceeds to blend together the energy and qualities he brought to the killing of a sacred deer and Calm with Horses in a part that demands his gory all. Was Saltburn the most shocking movie of 2023? If not, then I want to know what was in the comments section down below. Number 9, John Magaro, Past Lives. Although already into his 40th year, John Magaro still seems like something of a young up-and-comer, but his detailed turn as the jilted, gently jealous husband in Celine Song's Past Lives may put an end to that. The film is built around the relationship of Nora Moon and Hae Sung, childhood friends who are torn apart when Nora's family relocates from South Korea to Canada. And we dip into their stories every 12 years to see the ways in which they fall apart and reconnect. Across the years, Nora develops her own life with Arthur, played by Magaro in The Big Apple. And only the return of Hae Sung can call into question the materially small but emotionally large life they share. Not only is Magaro not the film's lead, but he doesn't have any scenes or virtually any screen time on his own. Despite this, he imbues what could have been a more two-dimensional role of the jilted husband with a vulnerability and tenderness that is rarely seen in men on screen, bringing a profound believability to the part. This completely sells Arthur's position as a moderately successful new century New York writer, and shows why Magaro should now be every director's go-to actor for intricately detailed supporting performances. Get that man a job. Number 8, Rachel Sennott, Bottoms. Emma Seligman's Bottoms was one of 2023's best surprises, capturing the best and worst of the classic teen high school movie and working it into a wacky absurdist new package. Set in a reality-adjacent absurdist world, Bottoms highlights the uncanniness of US teen comedy tropes and flips them on their head, layering in 90s and noughties references galore and going to town on the genre as a whole. Quote-unquote ugly, untalented gays PJ and Josie fall deep into a casual lie that sees them start a fight club in the school gym. Though the hope is to get close to the cheerleaders they're crushing on and finally lose their virginity, they're soon in way over their heads. Rachel Sennott as PJ is the film's blazing core, back together with her Shiva baby director and firing on all cylinders. She effortlessly balances the film's self-referential tongue-in-cheek humor with the kind of deadpan openness that really sells a satire like this. Untethered from the realism required for Shiva Baby, she is able to engage her full comedic range, diving deep into a role that is equal parts slapstick and irony. Bottoms is very much a teen comedy for adults, and everything from Sennett's little Dutch boy outfits to her unflinching delivery of some in-betweeners-esque lines squeezes juice out of every single scene. Number 7, Rupert Everett, Napoleon. Never a director to sit in his tower counting beans, Ridley Scott returned to our screens in 2023 with historical epic Napoleon, charting the French emperor's military career through to his somewhat untimely death. Joaquin Phoenix starred as the little man himself, but if anyone expected the fine balance of tyrannical sadism and ill-tempered wrath that the actor crafted during his portrayal of Roman Emperor Commodus in Scott's Gladiator, they were sadly mistaken. To Napoleon, Phoenix brought a comic presence that makes the legendary general seem more like a Monty Python character than a man capable of conquering half of Europe. But no matter what clownery Phoenix has shoehorned into his part, some of the film's other actors took their roles to heart. By far the standout performance from Napoleon was the frustratingly brief effort from Rupert Everett as Arthur Wellesley, the Duke of Wellington. Everett plays the commander who defeated Napoleon with an even balance of pomp and dry wit, arriving late in proceedings and stealing every damn scene he is in. The final battle is very much his for the taking, and despite the limited material from writer David Scarpa, he makes it his own. The film may have deeply offended the French and played fast and loose with recorded history, but Everett's performance is enough to make any flag-waving Brit proud. Number 6. Tobin Bell, Saw X. Saw returned to our screens with its X entry last year, a prequel set somewhere between Saw 1 and Saw 2 that digs up the bones of the series' main cast, and tries to get 20s audiences pumped for a decidedly naughty genre. Defying the series' established MO, John Kramer, the Jigsaw Killer himself, goes on a quest for personal vengeance, bringing along his bawling flunky Amanda Young, and taking the rooms and traps the franchise is known for to some strange and unusual places. X may be yet another unnecessary entry in a tired franchise that has done nothing to shift the status quo in years. But Bell doesn't seem to care a jot. Perhaps assuming this would be his last time in the role, Bell gives it his all, defying the typically two-tone approach the series takes to character development, and going deep on the conflicted, tender, broken-hearted man behind the saw. In a film of cartoonish scenery-chewing performances, Bell is the single reliable talent, somehow managing to make us sympathize deeply with a torture-happy serial killer. Now there is a sentence. Cheers for stopping by today, and if you're enjoying your fine self, then click on that subscribe button down below, baby. Number 5. Carrie Mulligan, Maestro. Multi-hyphenate Bradley Cooper's new Netflix drama stems from and goes to unexpected places, not least with its central focus on composer Leonard Bernstein, who found popularity in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, but is hardly a household name for the majority of the streaming service's audience base. Rather than being about the music, however, the film is about the often tumultuous relationship between Bernstein and the actor Felicia Monteligre, an on-off 25-year stint that changed their lives completely. Bradley Cooper may be the titular maestro with the fake nose, as well as the talent behind the camera, but Carrie Mulligan is the highlight, knocking it out of the park with a scene-stealing performance that makes her top billing make all the sense in the world. She takes center stage for a lot of the film, and proves the perfect foil to Cooper's Bernstein, playing the best and worst of their romance with equal greatness, making us understand the depth of their love and all the reasons it's bad for them. It's a clear career best for the actress, and that is saying something after a quick look at that CV. Number 4. Lily Gladstone, Killers of the Flower Moon. Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro's first Martin Scorsese film together was always going to be a major event. But nobody foresaw Lily Gladstone stealing the whole damn show. But that's precisely what she did. DiCaprio stars as Ernest Burkhart, a fast-talking stooge who has returned from the battlefields of World War I to live with his uncle King Hale on Hale's large ranch, on a reservation where the oil-rich indigenous Osage people are being exploited by their white neighbors. One such Osage is Gladstone's Molly Kyle, who Ernest can't help but fall head over heels for. A serious boon for his uncle's plan to take over the natives' oil-rich land. Gladstone is not merely the MacGuffin of the film, but its moral and emotional core, proving equal parts strong, independent, and vulnerable. There are large segments of Flower Moon where the narrative positions her as scenery to the action unfolding, and yet the first cow actor pulls the film in around her. Her manner and wholesale commitment to the role and early century setting shine through every line of dialogue, every cocked eyebrow, and she makes herself the most interesting part of a film full of big-name greats. Although she has already bagged a host of major awards and honors, including a Golden Globe, if she doesn't win an Oscar for this performance, the Academy has truly lost its touch. Number 3. Emma Stone, Poor Things. Adaptations of Aleister Gray's work don't come along often, never mind one helmed by master of the surreal Yorgos Lanthimos, but we get both in Poor Things, an all-time career best from Emma Stone to boot. Immersed in an uncanny alternative reality, the film shows us Bella Baxter's origins at the hands of Frankenstein-type Dr. Godwin Baxter, God for short. As Bella comes to possess her faculties and desires, she seeks out foreign lands and embarks on a liberating sexcapade, gaining her worldly education in the process. It is a film full of capital P performances. And while it seems a shame to choose just one, there could be no Poor Things without Emma Stone. She plays every stage of Bella's development from pre-linguistic fool to learned lady, without a trace of the teen comedy star we once knew. Lanthimos, Gray, the cinematographer, and the makeup/wardrobe department all have something to answer for in the complete realization of her character, but Stone alone makes an art of comedic misinterpretation, and pulls off a full-body performance only Barry Keoghan can rival. Number 2, Sandra Hudson, Anatomy of a Fall. The courtroom drama that wasn't, Justine Trier's Anatomy of a Fall, charts a single moment from every angle possible, as Sandra Hüller's Sandra Voiter is investigated for the potential murder of her husband in their mountain chalet in the Alps. Trier intentionally holds the death itself from us, employing the Tarantino/Reservoir Dogs tactic of building the entire picture around an off-screen event. As a result, nothing is as simple as it seems, and every time an answer to events seems to make up our minds, and Sandra's fate, another piece of situationally complex evidence comes to the fore. Huller manages the impossible by accessing all the emotions of the private moments we assume nobody else knows about. On paper, the investigation of a husband's fall from the roof of his home sounds pretty dry really, but she keeps us with her character at every turn, playing the curveballs as if they are happening in real time, and frequently making us forget we're watching a fictional character at all. Despite a definite resolution, the ending remains open-ended, due for the most part to the minute traits and tics of the actor's leading performance, casting doubt in all the right places. Number 1, Nicolas Cage, Dream Scenario. Nicolas Cage has had something of a renaissance this past half-decade, starring in as wide a variety of films as ever, and turning in performances that both affirm and totally defy fans' expectations of him. Enter Dream Scenario, where he manages to run the gamut in a single film. Christopher Borgly's follow-up to masterful influencer satire Sick of Myself has Nicolas Cage as Paul Matthews, a neurotic but decidedly safe and all but invisible biology professor whose skin is thin and achievements are few. His life takes a sharp left turn when people start seeing him in their dreams all over the world, shooting into immediate and unearned global fame as he goes viral via his uncontrollable nighttime adventures. It's a big-budget action horror premise worked into a lower-budget indie black comedy. And as it turns out, Cage, a sometime darling of both worlds, is the only man for the job. The beard and bald pate go some way to ensure our immersion, but this is far from the first time Cage has undergone a significant physical change for a role. No, the power of his performance in Dream Scenario seems to stem from a comprehensive understanding of himself as an actor. He has always known the memes, he has frequently understood the appeal of Cage rage, and he has occasionally known when to play things straight. But only here has he fully mastered all the different sides of Nicolas Cage, and put them to their full, uncompromised use. May the Cage age never end, I say.